Here are some interesting variety coins that were featured at the Long Beach US Coins signature auction. By 1853, the mint had already been busy, albeit behind the scenes, experimenting and looking for a solution to what they saw as the 1-cent problem. The large cents had become too expensive to mint and, due to their sheer size, unwieldy to use as well, especially when compared to the other coins that were in circulation at the time. In 1853, the mint created this experimental piece. The coin was much smaller, about the same size as would eventually become the small cent, with a simple design on the reverse, and what would be the obverse is struck with an unfinished die that had no design at all. This interesting piece was graded by PCGS as Proof 63 and sold at auction for $4,200. Arguably one of, if not the most famous large gold coin varieties out there, is this 1909 over 8 St. Gordon's Double Eagle overdate coin. The novelty of seeing a variety on a large gold denomination, paired with the fact that it can be spotted by the naked eye, makes for one interesting coin. This example of the renowned guidebook listed variety was graded by NGC at a grade of MS63, and at auction, it was sold for the sum of $5,040. The year 2000 was the first year that the Sacagawea small dollar coin was launched and released into circulation. In order to promote this new coin launch to the public, the US Mint partnered with General Mills to put 5,500 of the new coins into randomly distributed boxes of Cheerios. Not long after, the collectors started to notice that the Cheerios dollars, as they became known, are actually a variety, where the tail feathers are more finely detailed when compared to regular coins released by the mint for circulation. As part of the same promotion, other boxes of Cheerios simply included a Lincoln penny from the same year. Here we see a set of these coins, graded as MS68 and MS66 red respectively by NGC, that were sold together as one lot for $6,600. Here now is one of the most famous varieties from the early half of the 20th century from the US Mint, the 1937 D, three-legged buffalo nickel. The coin came about as the reverse die was likely damaged in some way. In order to remove the damage, probably clash marks, the reverse was then lapped or polished, but in the same process, some of the design elements, most notably the front leg of the bison, was inadvertently removed as well. The coin was graded by PCGS as MS64 and changed hands for a total of $8,400. The San Francisco Mint achieved a mintage of nearly 4.5 million trade dollars during 1875. As an apparent consequence, it nearly ran out of usable reverse dies for the denomination. An existing reverse, already punched in with a CC mint mark for Carson City, was then lapped to remove much, although not quite all, of this CC, and then punched instead with an S for San Francisco. This is a stunningly clear example where much of the original C still remains seen besides the S. The coin is graded by PCGS as MS63, and when it passed over the auctioneer's block, it had sold for no less than $9,300. Usually, when you hear the term repunched date variety, it conjures up an image of an Indian head penny or a Morgan dollar perhaps. But what we see now is a Liberty Double Eagle from 1852, where all of the digits from the date are clearly repunched. In fact, the weaker remnants of the initial impression of the dates, well, they're still clearly seen directly north of the final position of the date. Most 1852 double eagles that are found today, regardless of whether they are the variety or not, are in grades of below AU. typically VF2AU. So this MS61 graded example from NGC is an especially pleasing survivor. It was sold at auction for $9,300. The 1916 doubled obverse Buffalo nickel is a spectacular variety in a series that has some truly famous and sought-after varieties to boast with, helped in no small part by being a Red Book listed variety. Here, the doubling is most evident on the date, where the digits are doubled almost diagonally in relation to where they really should normally be. Other elements of the design, like the feathers, are also doubled quite obviously on this amazing little coin, which is graded by NGC as VF30 and was sold at auction for $9,900. The first few decades of the 20th century saw quite a number of prominent overdate varieties coming from the US Mint, much to the positive delight of the numismatic community. These include the 1918/07 Standing Liberty Quarter and the Buffalo Nickel from the same date, but few of these can compete with the 1942/01 Mercury Dime in terms of just how brazenly the 2/01 overdate displays on the coin, although technically this is a double-die obverse variety, affected by using two different dated working hubs, although the net effect certainly remains the same. This example was graded by PCGS with a grade of MS63 with full bands to achieve a closing price of $14,400 at auction. The 1867 over 67 is a spectacular Indian head cent variety coin, and one of the most impressive so-called naked eye varieties, since no, or at least bare minimum magnification is required to clearly identify the variety in question. Here you can easily spot the repunch date on the final two digits of the date, as both the 6 and 7 are boldly repunched, with the remnant of the initial impression clearly visible towards the north of the final placement. The stunning original red color of the coin makes it even scarcer still, with PCGS awarding a grade of MS64 plus red. It sold at auction for $17,400. In 1866, the US Mint changed the design of the double eagle coin to include the motto of "In God We Trust" on the reverse of the coin. The San Francisco Mint struck both with motto and no motto types in the same year, an intentional choice to maximize the mintage. However, something that was likely completely unintentional was the creation of this misplaced date variety for the issue, where you can see the top of a completely misplaced digit 8 towards the left of the number 1, just above the dentals of the coin. This attractive coin was graded by PCGS as MS62, and by auction's end, it had sold for $18,600. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about spectacular variety coins right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.